If you or a family member are 55 or over and need nursing home level care, but want to keep living where you are, check out Providence Elder Place PACE. This program offers healthcare, housing, transportation, and recreational activities. There are no copays or deductibles, and it's covered through Medicare and Medicaid. Providence Elder Place PACE works to keep you healthy and in your home. Call 206-320-5325 or visit providence.org Elder Place. Providence.org Elder Place. Yo, what's good? It's D-Money, and you should definitely check out Fresh Juice every Wednesday, 9 to 11 Pacific, right on Rainier Avenue Radio.
With pint-sized Patron, P-Treasy to Don. Y'all be sure to clean your mirrors as we play brand new hip-hop and R&B from locals and worldwide.
Which ID yourself, a.k.a. Malcolm Flex. Make sure you check out Fresh Juice every Wednesday, Pacific Standard Time from 9 to 11 p.m.
And to get those exclusive interviews that we be doing.
Sipping a brand new Fresh Juice every single week.
Yeah, every Wednesday, 9 to 11, Rainier Avenue Radio.
Yeah.
You probably have questions about COVID vaccines. Here are some answers about how they're being made.
How are COVID vaccines being produced faster?
Usually, vaccine testing and production are separate steps. But because of the pandemic, vaccines are being developed on parallel tracks. So both steps are happening just at the same time.
How are the vaccines being tested?
Right now, several different COVID vaccines are in testing. Each go through multiple clinical trials with up to thousands of volunteers.
How do vaccines get approved?
Not all COVID vaccine versions will make it to the final stages of testing and approval. Produced vaccines that do not pass clinical trials will be destroyed. But for those that do pass, a team of medical experts will examine test results and possible side effects. If the vaccine is effective and safe, it gets approved and gets to you. Go to covidvaccinewa.org to learn more. A message from the state of Washington.
Rainier Avenue Radio, your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
I just love the sound of shattering glass. Hello world, Bettina Carey here, and I'm founder and CEO of We Empower You, the community, and WeEmpowerYourLife.com, the website. And we're live on Rainier Avenue Radio, where we help you to shatter glass ceilings with an S, because, well, after all, glass ceilings are meant to be shattered, not just merely broken. And if you've been looking to shatter yours, you've come to the right place. With me today is Chris D.T. Gordon, who's a faithful husband, father of 3, online middle school special education teacher, professional speaker, podcast host, co-author, runner, and first-degree black belt in Taekwondo, and a pop culture geek. And he's also a survivor of necrotizing fasciitis, which is a flesh-eating bacteria, who uses his story and message to inspire high school students to overcome lots of things, and also other young adults to adopt this, what he calls the attitude of gratitude. That's TAG for short. And overcome their challenges, increase their positivity and gratitude, and make the world around them a better place. Welcome to the stage, Chris. It's so great to have you here today.
Bettina, the honor's all mine. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
You know, we met on another show, on CL King's show.
Yeah, a little earlier in the day, too.
A little, yes, right. Just about midnight. Thereabouts. Right. So when we met, I was so inspired by your story. You know, it's a little bit of a facing death story, and it's one worth sharing and telling. So I want you to go ahead and kind of go back in time with us when you were literally doing something that you've done dozens and probably hundreds of times in your day, and then share what happened next.
Certainly. So in March 2015, I was a seemingly ordinary and average 40-year-old husband and father of 3. I was husband to wife Becky and father to Josh, Seth, and Anna. And as you said before, Bettina, I was a middle school special education teacher for an online school, which meant I taught from home. So every day I would help Becky get the kids ready for school and daycare. One morning, March 18th to be exact, I was helping her by flying our younger son, Seth, back and forth to our detached garage. Well, I veered too far to the right, and I scratched the back of my right hand on our exterior garage wall. Well, I looked at it. It wasn't bleeding. To quote Monty Python, "'Tis but a scratch." So I put him back in. I put him into the car seat, kissed them all goodbye, and as they went on their way, I went into the house, washed out my wound, and started my day teaching. 3 days later, I woke up to find a lacrosse ball-sized bump on my right elbow. I went to the urgent care clinic, and they said that it might have been bursitis, which is an inflammation of the bursa sac in your joints, but I should keep an eye on it. So I kept an eye on it. As the bump grew and grew and grew until my right arm was 3 times the size of my left. That doesn't usually happen to me. So Becky called the babysitter and then took me to the emergency room where they quickly admitted me. And this is where it starts getting a little scary, because while they were testing my, checking my vitals, they also found that I had gone septic. And sepsis is a reaction to a foreign agent introduced into the body. However, one of the reactions is that a chemical is pumped into your bloodstream to kill off any foreign agents. However, that alone can kill you. So I had poison coursing through my veins in a ginormous right arm. Not the craziest Saturday night I ever experienced, but easily top 5.
Wow.
So they keep me overnight for observation. And in the morning, that doctor tells me that this was beyond them. They could do nothing more for me there.
Wow.
And asked me where I wanted to go. So I quickly said the Mayo Clinic, not only because it's the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, one of the most well-renowned hospitals in the world, but my in-laws lived in Rochester. So I knew that the kids, Becky and Max the dog, would have a place to stay for 2 or 3 days this would take. I was sure of it. So they fly me to Rochester, and that's where they diagnosed me officially with necrotizing fasciitis, or as you called it before, flesh-eating bacteria.
So pause for a minute. So you've got this family that you're 100% responsible for as a husband and as a caretaker, and you have to be flown to where you need to go to get your hospital care, and you have no idea how long it's going to be, and you think it's going to just be a few days. What does it turn out to be?
Well, they actually had to stay in Rochester for 2 weeks. I was in the hospital for 2 months.
Wow. So a little flesh-eating bacteria, a little scratch led to a very long recovery.
Yes. And in short order, and within a span of 5 days, I had all of the skin from the back of my right hand all the way up to the base of my neck removed. I then had to have a piece of flesh from my left thigh placed on my right hand and forearm in order to save my arm. But that left a gaping hole in my leg. So then doctors had to remove a muscle from my quadricep muscle group and place it and then install a pair of knobs inside my leg so they can tighten the wound over time.
Wow.
Then they had to take a skin graft harvester, or as I call it, a cheese slicer on steroids, and run it up and down my back and legs to procure skin grafts for the exposed areas on my upper right side.
Yeah, and these are all life-saving procedures that you're going through, but you also have no idea whether they're going to work, what the deformity is going to be, how your arm's going to work, how your leg is going to work, and you're one of the providers in your family, right? So this is a really life-altering, to say the least, and probably you were experiencing a lot of pain, I would imagine, with all of the procedures, right?
Well, a lot of that pain was taken care of courtesy of ketamine, which is a very powerful pain medication.
Yeah.
We could talk about ketamine and the hallucinations another time. But to get to your earlier point, yes, when I woke up from my 5-day coma, I was removed of the physical bacteria, the flesh-eating bacteria, but then I had personal bacteria invading my mind, negative thoughts that were questioning my very existence. Like how, like you said before, how is my body going to be able to work if it could work naturally from this point forward?
Yeah. And even just the aesthetics, right? You know, this was my arm one day, and now this is another arm, and it's got the skin from my thigh and some from my back and my butt or whatever, wherever they got the skin from, right? And you're like, what the heck?
Yeah, I don't want to imagine what my arm would look like if my butt were on there, but yes, I was a combination of Deadpool and Frankenstein's monster.
Wow. And you took this experience, right? And you converted it into not just a story that you tell, like you're having you do this, tell us now, but now you also accelerated it to be a story that you share with students to motivate, activate them. Tell us a little bit more about the transition from the recovery to what you do now with students.
Certainly. Well, it's all thanks to my wife. Early in my recovery, I was inundated by this personal bacteria. Well, one day during her daily visits, she stopped by and was telling me how our various communities were stepping up to help us. People were shoveling our walkways and snowblowing our driveways. People were donating food and clothes and toys to the kids and playing with the kids while they were at my in-laws' house. People had started a classmate of Becky's from high school had started a GoFundMe account, which raised over $10,000, which offset lost wages because I lost a quarter of school. And because of that, I ran out of sick days. Wow. So when all of these messages of love and assistance were coming my way through Becky's conversation, all that personal bacteria washed away from me. And what was left is what I now call the attitude of gratitude, or TAG, as you said earlier. Mm-hmm. And so when I started practicing TAG myself, I asked myself 3 questions. The first one was, what good things did I have in my life? And when we ask ourselves that question, we usually think of family, our jobs, our homes. But then I went a little deeper and I asked myself, what about the little things? What about the show Daredevil that I started binge watching on Netflix with my brother buying me a new iPad? What about the fact that the sun never shined in my eyes when I was bedridden, which I know it sounds random, but when you are bedridden for a long time and you have no control over your environment, having not to ask someone for one more thing is a blessing.
Yes.
And, even the hospital pizza, which people don't believe me when I say it was phenomenal. I look forward to that pizza every time I could have it. And even today, I think about door hinges. How we don't usually think about door hinges until that door is broken, but I'm thankful for the door hinge when it's working. Yes. I also think about my right armpit, which I know, again, sounds random, but my right armpit is covered in skin grafts. Skin grafts are non-porous, which means they don't sweat, which means I can make a stick of deodorant last for 6 months. So it's being able to find all the little things in life, to be thankful for, find value in them, that makes our gratitude that much stronger.
Wow. So the place that you live from, you breathe every day, your walk in life, transformed by what, for all intents and purposes, was a horrifying situation. And you turned it around and you're helping people, not only those students right in your hometown, but you actually are helping others because you go on the air, you have your own podcast show, and folks can actually find you on your website. And go ahead and share a little bit about how folks what they can get on your website.
Certainly. Thanks, Bettina. Well, they could go to chrisdtgordon.com. There I have a few videos that showcase my speaking skills and my message of TAG, the attitude of gratitude. I also have a free TAG one sheet that people can download and print and put on their walls at home or at the office or at school, so they can practice TAG anywhere they are. They can also go to the merch store and buy some TAG shirts. And on my podcast called Scar Bearers, which is on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, I always ask the question of my guests, what is your favorite dinosaur? And I have what is your favorite dinosaur t-shirts on the website. So if you like dinosaurs like I do, you should probably go get that shirt. But all the same, please check it out. Check out the website and let's start a conversation about how I can help your young people, your high schoolers, your college students, those in the military, and help them increase their gratitude, positivity, and resilience so they can be the leaders that we need them to be and forge their futures. Yes,
that's great. And your whole entire story, of course, is a little longer than we might have for today, because I know you have to jump off early. But yes. The important component is that it left you with a state of gratitude that you are holding near and dear to your heart. And I consider that a shattering the glass ceiling moment, because many people, and I might have even had some of these moments in my life at times, where you look at the others, what others have and what you don't have, and that sort of thing. And years ago, I stumbled into this state of gratitude. And literally thousands of times a day, I have something that I say in my hot little head that is an appreciation and a gratitude for what's in front of me, what's next to me, and what's behind me and around me. And it has completely transformed my life. And it has allowed me to be more present. And when I'm more present, I'm like a magnet, and things are attracted to this person, as well as my mission, my vision, my calling, and that sort of thing. You've probably had the similar experience, I would imagine.
Yes, I have, because a lot of people, they sometimes struggle day to day. And when I mention, hey, I'm thankful for my beat up mouse that is held together by duct tape, they really resonate. They know that things aren't perfect, but as long as the thing works and it can keep moving forward, that is what matters. And that's something I bring up in my presentations, Bettina, is I say, pass on perfection and go for greatness. Because we're inundated by the images of perfection, but in fact, they're not images, but mirages. They're not really real.
Yes.
And they tempt us to want to go for perfection, but perfection is fleeting at best and futile and maddening at worst. So instead, be consistent in your practice, be diligent in how you attack your goals, and be perseverant through the tough times. And that way, once in a while, you might reach perfection, but you will always be great.
Great. Oh, I love that. Wow. That is so powerful. I gave up perfectionism a long time ago as well. Thank God for that, because I'm telling you, it was costing me so much money to try to be a perfect human when there is no such thing as perfect. I think someone says that perfect is less profitable, right? And so that I kind of think about that too. It's like, if I want to actually achieve a margin of error in the revenue side, I pretty much have to give up or abandon the idea of perfection. In fact, if you look at some of the major players in the world of products and services, they're not perfect. I have my iPhone right here, and every time I get an iPhone, it's a different version of the imperfect iPhone that is going to have another version here pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
So I'm up to 13 versions of this imperfect phone. It's still not perfect, but millions and millions of people have this phone nonetheless, right?
Exactly.
So that between the attitude of gratitude and going for great, and also giving up perfection. So I know you have to leave a little bit early today. You have a few minutes to share one final thought with the audience?
Yes, I actually have a 3-step process to help you increase your gratitude. I call it the triple A, to actively augment your appreciation of someone. So first of all, I want you to pick someone in one of your social circles.
Yep.
And then take them out of that circle. That's the first step. Then I want you to look at that person without any connection to you, but how they benefit the world around them. Could be how they parent, how they do their jobs, how they interact with their friends, how they interact with strangers. Look at all the positive ways that person affects the world. Third step, put them back into that social circle that you share, and now realize you have a fantastic relationship with this wonderful human being. I do this with my wife all the time. Becky, she's my wife, my partner, my best friend. I take her out of that social circle that we share, though, and I see on her own, she's a fantastic mother, a loving daughter and sister, a brilliant teacher, a well-read historian, a great athlete, a wonderful musician. She has a witty sense of humor, just as geeky as I am, though she keeps it down low a lot lower than I do. And then I put her back to that social circle that we share, and she's still all of those things, but now she's my wife, partner, and best friend to boot. How lucky am I?
Yes. Oh boy, her ears must be burning on fire at this point. She's a lucky lady, I have to say.
Well, I feel like I'm the lucky one, but thank you.
It's great to have you here, Chris. And again, how folks can get a hold of you.
They can reach out to chrisdtgordon.com and go on the website, check it out, reach out to me so we can help spread tag and play tag with as many people as we can.
There you go. Thank you for joining me here today. It's great to have you. I'm going to go ahead and continue on my own. And
one thing to say, Bettina, I don't mean to interrupt you, but thank you so much for joining me today, or having me here today. And I'm excited because your episode on Scar Bears is dropping next week.
There you go. And we'll be able to share that as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Bettina. Have a great day.
You too. Bye, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
You too.
So as you've joined us perhaps early on in our show of the Shattering the Glass Ceiling, and or you've been watching over the weeks and the months, we started in April, and it's been really a journey to say the least. As I've mentioned, I am the founder of the We Empower You community, the global movement, and the website weempoweryourlife.com. So today's show, I'm actually going to close out by sharing a little bit about my vision, my mission, and my purpose, and where I got this big calling. So I was a victim of domestic violence as a high school student. I met a boy who became my boyfriend, and he became my abuser. And after some time, he also became the father of my unborn child. And one of his assaults led to the death of her. Her name is Laura Jean. And I ended up staying with this fellow for about a year before I got the courage to leave these circumstances. So I have been on the journey of empowerment since I was about 17, 18, 19 years old. And I have since become an empowerer, originally of women, but now I actually am all about empowering anyone and around the globe, not just in my local Seattle area. So if you are a coach, a speaker, an author, an advisor, a consultant, a cheerleader, a mentor, and you have a powerful story to tell on a stage that is deserving of your story, then you might want to give me a call, and we can talk a little bit about how membership in the We Empower You community might serve you and that you might benefit. And some of the folks around me that are part of the We Empower You community blame me for their success. And I'm really excited to tell a little bit about these stories. So we had one of our members who is named T.U. Knapp, who actually was a retired postal worker when we first met, who was writing a book. And through the course of working with us and being a member, an active member of the We Empower You community, she ended up becoming the author of her published book. And I'm so excited that she's a member, and she's on our stage that we have every quarter, the We Empower You Global Virtual Summit. Our next summit is coming up on March the 9th, and she'll be back on our stage as always. And we are considering her a success story, because every day that she's out there speaking and sharing her story, which is also a story of domestic violence, she's able to transform lives. And so I welcome anyone out there who's watching and listening and following our story of the We Empower You community as we grow it, as well as the WeEmpowerYourLife.com website. We also host weekly meetings on Wednesdays, and that's 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we'd love it if you joined us there as well. And you go to WeEmpowerYourLife.com, click on the calendar tab to join us for our weekly meeting. So our summits, our weekly meetings, our support, our benefits package that comes to our members is all part of my mission and vision to transform the globe one business at a time. I believe that when we give more and we take less, we also succeed through the power of community and the power of the togetherness that we are. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening and watching our show here today. Our next show coming up on Rainier Avenue Radio is Community Spotlight. Stay tuned. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Chris, for joining me here today. Please leave a comment. I read all of them. I love the feedback that I'm getting. And join us next Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. Ask most anyone if they feel empowered in all areas of their life. If they're honest, they'll likely say no. Hi, I'm Bettina Carey, and I may be only 4'9½", but what I do is big. Dream big, break through, and connect to powerful people like you. And what I'm doing is inspiring and empowering others to break through, shatter their revenue glass ceiling. And I'm here to tell you that the We Empower You community is where you're going to want to be. It's a community, it's a membership, it's a movement. And what we're doing is helping you to start and run your online business without doing a thing. We're helping you to find angel investors that you don't have to pay back, to run your own membership program where you don't have to do the work, and so much more. We are here to empower you at the We Empower You Global Summit and the WeEmpowerYourLife.com. Visit us on the web at WeEmpowerYourLife.com or text the word Bettina to 555-888. We'll see you at the summit.